Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel Third Eye Media. So let us discuss about some important Hindu articles which were actually published on April 12th. So these are very important with in perspective of competitive exams. So I am going to discuss one by one. So let's not waste any time. The first topic is EDP projects India's GDP growth in 2024-25 at 7%. So just these are all about statistical figure or economical figures. I am just going to read it out. The retail inflation to ease to, so inflation is going to reach to 4.6% this year, and food inflation to cool to 5.7% if farm output returns to usual, says lender. Revival expected in rural consumption, but exports, FDI inflows, that is something called FDI something, but foreign direct investment inflows still seen muted. So ADP is nothing but, ADP stands for Asian Development Bank. The country's gross domestic product is forecasted to slow from 7.6% in 2023-24 to 7% this year, before improving to 7.2% in 2025-26, the Asian Development Bank said. So it has been dropping from 7.6 to 7%, and it is going to again reach to 7.2 in 2025-26. As per its Asian Development Outlook report released on Thursday, the bank expects retail inflation to ease to 4.6% this year and 4.5% in 2025-26. India's persistent food inflation is expected to drop to 5.7% as farm output returns to normal trends this year. So food inflation is going to drop. With the US reporting a resurgence in inflation in March, dimming prospects of much anticipated interest rate cuts from the Federal Reserve, the ADB noted that a higher for longer interest rate regime would have some impact on Asia's inflation outlook, with a slightly smaller dent in growth. However, this impact would be more pronounced and persistent for India, given the higher sensitivity of its inflation pace to exchange rate fluctuations and its greater reliance on imported goods. So what is happening is US is also experiencing inflation. So now to cope up with this particular inflation, it's also going to take some measures. Means it's going to set some interest rates. Okay, so it's going to set some interest rate cuts. So which is going to directly influence India or impact India. So because as the dollar value is going to as the availability of dollars is reduced, automatically the Indian rupee gets depreciated. So which will indirectly lead to a more cost of imports. Means the imports price will increase. So which is not good for our India, because we are more relying on some imports from US. Next, a projected normal monsoon this year will also help revive rural consumption, which was muted last year due to erratic rainfall affecting the farm sector, with greater demand for work under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act scheme, signaling the resultant stress. As India accounts for 80% of South Asia's GDP, it is still the fastest growing sub-region, with improving domestic demand as prices moderate in most economies, he noted. So these are the reports, or these are the figures actually published by ADP. Next, most Indians believe in plurality survey. An overwhelming number, 79% of those surveyed in the CSDS Lokniti poll, over that it's actually an opinion poll, okay, over that India belongs to all religions equally, not just Hindus, with only 11% saying that India belongs only to Hindus. This belief in plurality was more pronounced in urban areas, 85% in towns and 84% in cities, and higher among the educated, 83%, as compared to those with schooling, 72%. So it's very good news. So many Indians are believing in this plurality. Okay, I mean they are actually secular in nature. Next, Apple changes hacking alert wording on its website after India pressure. So Apple company is now calling state-backed attackers as mercenary hackers in email alerts to affected customers, and has changed this language on support documentation on its website as well. So it has nothing but it has changed the name. That is, previously it used to call hackers as state-backed attackers. Now they will be calling this particular term with mercenary hackers. So when you are getting some emails, it will tell us that mercenary hacker is there is a threat of mercenary hackers. Be careful. This change comes months after a report of pressure from the Indian government to give authorities deniability for hacking attempts on political leaders, journalists and activists who have repeatedly been alerted of unauthorized intrusions into their phones from spyware like Pegasus. So, Pegasus is actually from Israel. So, it is actually developed by an Israel company. So, with the help of Pegasus, we can actually hack any mobile phones, and we can also access any information from mobile phone without even any information given to the owner. So, without his knowledge, we can actually grab information from such mobile phones, which the Intelligence Bureau had acquired in 2017. So, it's all about 2017 issue. Next, Vaisakhi celebrations from today. The 325th Khalsa Panth Foundation Day celebrations, popularly known as Vaisakhi, will be celebrated on a grand scale in Telangana from April 12 to 14. The event is being organized under the aegis of Gurudwara Sahib, Amirpet, where the Sikh brethren from Hyderabad and different parts of Telangana will converge for Vaisakhi celebrations. As part of the celebrations, a mass congregation will be organized at Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji playgrounds. Next, sound and stable ties in region's interest, China. Reacting to PM remarks, Beijing calls for India to work with China to take the bilateral relations forward. Modi's comments, highly significant, reflect his cautions and careful tone, says diplomats. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's comments about tensions at the line of actual control are highly significant, according to Indian Foreign Affairs experts. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs reacted to his remarks on Thursday, calling for India to work with China to put the bilateral relations forward on a sound and stable track. He also pointed to the changes in China's ties with other global players, including renewed talks with the US and Europe and closer engagement with Russia as pertinent. Senior US officials have visited Beijing recently, and Chinese President Xi Jinping is due to visit France next month in his first trip to Europe since 2019. So, obviously, China is also trying to maintain good relations with other countries like US, Russia, as well as France. So, it's better if India is also going, and diplomats feel that it's very good if India also try to maintain good bilateral relations with China. So, China is also hoping for that. Next, no shortage of capital funds due to consolidated budget of 3 services. There will be no shortage of capital funds for the Indian Air Force because of consolidation of the demand of 3 services in the defense budget for 2024-25, the Indian Air Force has said. Funds sought for 2024-25 have already been allotted to the services. Prior to Feb 2024, capital funds had been allocated separately to the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. The integrated capability development program, which is a 10-year plan, would be finalized by headquarters, integrated defense staff and approved by the government. In the interim budget presented in February, the government decided to consolidate the capital allocation for the 3 services based on similar items of expenditure such as land, aircraft and aero engines and heavy and medium vehicles. This mechanism will also expedite decision making and ensure better utilization of the capital budget, the Ministry of Defence had stated earlier. The total allocation for defence stands at 76.2 lakh crore for 2024-25, of which the capital allocation, which is for new procurements, stands at 27.72 lakh crore. Of the 76.2 lakh crore, 27.67% went into capital, 14.82% for revenue expenditure on sustenance and operational preparedness, 30.68% for pay and allowances, 22.72% for defence pensions and 4.11% for civil organizations under the Ministry of Defence. So, clearly the total allocation for defence stands at 76.2 lakh crore for 2024-25. Next, in a first in 40 years, Indian film to compete for Cannes Award. Indian filmmaker Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light on Thursday scripted history by becoming the first Indian movie in over 40 years to feature in the prestigious competition section of the Cannes Film Festival, where it will be for the top prize Palme d'Or. The previous Indian film to compete for the coveted Palme d'Or award was legendary filmmaker Mrinal Sen's Kharij in 1983. So, that's all. I think these are the topics which are very important in prospective competitive exams. So I have discussed one by one. So I hope you guys are enjoying. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to channel, and share this particular videos to each and everyone, those who are in need of these topics. Thank you.